So we've talked about this in the concept of, a typical bank account ultimately that is, existing on the platform that you're receiving payments in and out. But you can also use this from a development perspective as well. So many of the customers that connect to us today, they transact via an API. So an API is basically connectivity that just allows us to send information back and forth with respect to debits and credits, the initiation and the receipt of payments, and FX transactions. You can also configure these accounts so that they're directly connected to your API transactions as well. So anything where you are, let's say, as a customer, you have your own website, an own front-end system that customers are coming to and they're transacting on, they're making orders, they're executing payments. All of those transactions could be pointed towards this account that are API generated that then sends and receives payments to this account and is fully connected to your API. So that's a long way of saying, irrespective of how you want to use this capability, anything that you do with Corpay, you can use these accounts for, whether it's API or whether it's in the online portal or even offline over the phone with your dealer. So, sort of summary, why do you want to open these accounts? Well, the key benefit ultimately is it allows you full control, the ability to manage your cash flow, to reconcile and differentiate different types of flows depending on the account that you want to configure, and it gives you access to markets that you wouldn't otherwise be able to have. Now, in the United States, it's actually not possible to have a US dollar bank, or a foreign currency bank account domiciled in the United States in any currency other than the US dollar. This is effectively a way that you can, on the same platform, have access to foreign currency bank accounts domiciled in other jurisdictions, but still connected to your legal entity in the United States. The benefits here are the ability to receive payments cost effectively in local currency fashion, in a guaranteed full value transfer, on-time delivery, to make payments in exactly the same format, leveraging both the SwiftWire network and the in-country payment network, and the ability to just like a traditional bank account or a wallet, an e-wallet. So you have a customer that pays you at the beginning of the month, you receive €1 million, you know that you have AP that you need to process in the middle of the month, rather than having to convert all those funds into US dollars and then buy them back in 15 days time, which is obviously inefficient from a market perspective. You can simply receive those euros into that account, either wait till the end of the month or middle of the month to push out those outbound payments and to self-fund those transactions. Or if you really want to be super efficient at managing your cash flow, you could receive those euros into your bank account on the first of the month. You could then execute a swap to convert those euros temporarily into US dollars so that you have access to the liquidity in US dollar form. You could buy those euros back on the 14th of the month at the exact same exchange rate, taking no FX risk. Buy those euros back on the 14th of the month to fund outbound payments in the middle of the month. The benefit of so doing is that you're taking your liquidity, you're not tying up your cash flow in the foreign currency amount, you're actually converting it to US dollars to run your business and run your AP and AR from a regular basis and concentrate your liquidity in your home currency without taking the FX risk that would normally be associated with converting the money at the beginning of the month and then buying it back at the end of the month. They're not necessarily US domiciled, so they are foreign currency accounts held in another jurisdiction connected to your US entity ultimately. So today, if you wanted to open up a Euro account, that account, even though if they say it's domiciled in the United States, it's not really domiciled in the United States. It's held with a correspondent in another jurisdiction, but you don't have direct connectivity or access to that foreign correspondent ultimately. So the differentiation here is that your US entity can open up these accounts all around the world, still be connected to your US entity, still have access to it via your US entity, but it can be held in any jurisdiction that you want it to be, within the restrictions of where we support the currencies. Yeah, we can certainly affect it like a sweep ultimately, if you will. So, a sweep ultimately, you have money that flows into account and it automatically sweeps to another account. You could execute a swap to effectively achieve that same end of converting the euro-based liquidity, in our example, into US dollars on a particular day or at the close of business, whatever the case might be, and then simultaneously execute the far leg to buy those euros back for when you actually need them. And the network expansion is this middle part. So we have recognized the local connectivity is a super attractive part of this capability ultimately. So we want to provide that local connectivity in other major currencies and in other time zones as well. So the next ones that we want to support are Canadian dollars domiciled in Canada, Singapore dollars in Singapore, Aussie dollars in Aussie, and to support US dollar accounts within the APAC time zone. So why that's so important is if you have a global business and you're managing US dollar cash flows, you want to be able to send and receive payments in Asia Pacific within the middle of the night and not have to wait until the US banking system opens up the next business day, ultimately. So this is the next iteration of product that we will begin to extend. We're also going to expand the currency coverage. We also support instant transactions with other customers that are on our network that have accounts enabled on the system as well. So think of this as just an interbank credit memo, ultimately. So if you're a US bank customer and one of your partners is a US bank customer, you can make a credit memo transaction to debit your account, credit their account almost instantaneously. It doesn't flow across the ACH network or the SWIFT network. We can do the exact same thing in our system as well.